Then, life in the permanent midnight. Ghostly creatures.
They descended in instrument-guided silence, conserving power for the search ahead on the abyssal plain.
Chen felt the pressure not on her skin, but on her soul. The weight of an entire ocean, held back by a sphere of metal.
Then, the abyssal plain. A desert at the bottom of the world, untouched by time or sun.
They waited for the disturbance to settle. In the deep, patience is the first tool.
"40 minutes later, the first whisper from the past. A fragment of Portuguese pottery, its color defiant after 400 years.
Each fragment was a data point, a piece of a story shattered across the seafloor.
The debris field grew. Coins, tools, the detritus of a ship's life and death. But Chen searched for the heart of the story.
Gold. A chest of worked gold, packed with the wealth of an empire. A time capsule from 1643.
She marked the location. The first phase was documentation. The next, recovery, would be a far greater challenge.
"8 hours later, they returned to a world of light and air, carrying proof of what lay below.
On the support ship Pelagos, Chen briefed the team. The target was identified. Now, they would send down a different machine.
The ROV Triton, all function and no frills, began its 4-hour descent on a taut cable of power and data.
Hold position at 3,000 meters. I see something on the sonar.
Copy that. Stabilizing depth.
The Triton was steady. Blink was a heartbeat in the dark. The chest waited, as it had for 400 years.
The recovery was a ballet of hydraulics and patience, millimeters mattering when handling history.
Load secure. 847 kilograms.
The signal was given. The winch far above began to reel in its prize from the abyss.
For 3 hours, the treasure rose, meter by meter, through the crushing darkness toward the distant sun.
On deck, the team waited in tense silence. The culmination of years of work broke the surface.
It emerged transformed, a monster of the deep, encrusted with the life and minerals of centuries.
The stabilization tank was a halfway house between the deep and our world, preventing the artifacts from exploding from the change.
The ROV worked on, retrieving the scattered pieces of the story. A chalice, coins, pottery. Then, the delicate work began, unwrapping time itself, layer by microscopic layer. They revealed a fortune. Gold plates, jeweled daggers, rings. The lost treasury of a crown.
And beneath the gold, another treasure. Silk,
and the graceful curves of porcelain from a dying empire. Ming porcelain, among the last masterworks before the dynasty's fall, carried across the world to be lost again.
Then the cross. Not just gold, but faith made tangible. Its
On the final night, she gathered the team. No speech was needed. The objects themselves were the only words required.
In their silence, Chen felt it. The profound satisfaction of a promise kept to the past.
The ocean is not a grave. It is a preserver. And for a moment,
With the treasures secured, the Pelagos turned for home. The abyss had given up its secrets.
The delicate work of preservation was just beginning. Each piece needed a cocoon for its journey to the surface world.
The team decompressed, their focus shifting from recovery to understanding. The data was a treasure in itself.
In the quiet hours, the weight of responsibility settled upon her. She was now the steward of a forgotten history.
The story needed to be told correctly, not as a treasure hunt, but as archaeology.
How many more are down there, you think? How many more stories are waiting down there, Sarah?
Thousands. But this one, we found. It's ours to tell now.
After weeks at sea, land appeared. A world of museums, laboratories, and press conferences awaited.
She sealed the laboratory. The artifact's deep-sea peace was over. Their new life was about to begin.
The most valuable cargo was the first off. A truck with climate control would carry it to a high-security laboratory. The artifacts entered a new kind of deep, a sterile, secure vault where time would be meticulously unwound.
The paperwork was a mountain. Every gram of gold, every shard of pottery now had a pedigree and a purpose.
The world saw the treasure for the first time, not as loot, but as recovered heritage. This isn't a story of gold. It's a story of people, of hands that made these things and lives that were lost.
The questions began about value, about history, about what came next.
the real work was invisible to the public. Years of conservation, analysis, and reconstruction lay ahead.
Technology let them see inside time itself. The X-rays were a map of a moment frozen in 1643.
In a dusty archive, a line in a ledger made the connection absolute. The paper trail met the deep sea trail. The gap of centuries closed. She could almost hear the scratch of the quill, feel the tension of that final voyage.
Hold fast, lads. Secure the mainsail.
The public saw more than treasure. They saw adventure, history, art, and the staggering depth of the sea.
Unbelievable depth. How did they find it?
Think of the sailors.
This was the final phase of the work. Not discovery, but sharing.
Not a bad day's work, Doc. The circle was complete. From darkness to light, from oblivion to memory.
But for an archaeologist, completion is just a pause. The ocean still held its secrets.
The weight of centuries she had lifted was replaced by the pull of the next mystery, the next depth.
The audio features cinematic background music that gradually fades into silence.
Back at sea, the silence was different. The acclaim faded, leaving only the essential questions, the open water.
The next target held no promise of gold, just iron, coal, and the stories of ordinary travelers.
This was the bread and butter of her work. Not every dive yielded treasure, but every dive yielded truth.
The routine was a comfort. The descent through the layers was a meditation on pressure and patience.
Hold position there. Now, slowly pan right towards the clearer section of the hull.
And then, the human touch. A single plate, waiting on the table of the deep.
This was the real treasure. Not value, but vulnerability. The mundane object that outlasted its owners.
Her world expanded. From discoverer to teacher, from retrieval to interpretation.
The academic work was endless. Each artifact demanded a dissertation, each dive a new chapter in a collective story.
The cycle began anew. A fragment of evidence, a historical mystery, the vast, hiding ocean.
The work was not just in the deep, but in boardrooms and airports, securing the means for the next descent.
We are not salvors. We are translators. Our task is to give voice to the stories the ocean has swallowed.
Your work on the Catherine, it changes the funding landscape. It gives us all credibility.
Her success became a rising tide.
The best leads often came not from satellites, but from stories passed down for generations on shore.
Oral history became coordinates. A memory became a search box.
Each expedition was an ecosystem of its own. People, technology, history, and hope, all orbiting a point on a map.
The coordinates from the story match the slope.
But the depth readings are inconsistent with the survey data.
The wheel turned. She was now the one who said, "We dive in 1 hour."
The descent never got easier. The tension was a coiled spring, winding tighter with every meter.
There she was, not a treasure galleon, but a workhorse. A story of industry, immigration, or war.
The first goal, a name, an identity. To return a ship its name was to return its crew their dignity.
A name and a number. The cold statistics of loss, now given a physical grave.
Okay, team, document everything. We're mapping a memorial site. No recovery today. This is a survey of respect.
They would raise the wreck not in steel, but in data. A permanent, accessible record for history.
The weight was different this time. Not gold, but ghosts. A different, heavier kind of treasure.
A story passed down found its ending. A circle of memory was closed.
Her work became a beacon. It inspired new scientists, new technologies, a new public fascination with the deep frontier.
The work evolved from bringing artifacts up to bringing people down virtually to see them in place.
Can I try, Mom? Can I see the jellyfish?
Whoa! It's so dark, but it's so beautiful!
In her daughter's wonder, she saw the future of exploration. The torch, passing quietly in a sunlit room.
The questions were getting sharper, more technical. The legacy was taking root.
It's like a artifact, but from the surface world. It has its own story, right?
We have mapped less of our seafloor than we have of the surface of Mars. So I ask you, what are we waiting for?
She liked to hear the stories others told. It meant the objects had a life beyond her, beyond any single discoverer. 400 years. A craftsman's breath, a sailor's hand, the ocean's cold embrick.
It was never about the weight of gold or the depth of water. It was about the depth of time.
In the end, the greatest collection was not of gold, but of light. Digital photons.
She liked to hear the stories others told. It meant the objects had a life beyond her, beyond any single discoverer.
She liked to hear the stories others told. It meant the objects had a life beyond her, beyond any single discoverer.
It was never about the weight of gold or the depth of water. It was about the depth of time and the human urge to reach across. The weight of centuries is not a burden. It is an invitation. And the sea, as always, is waiting.
In the end, the greatest collection was not of gold, but of light. Digital photons.
Dr. Chen, the AI correlation engine found another high probability anomaly. Grid 7 Baker.
The tools evolved.
The thrill hadn't diminished. It had matured into a deep, patient certainty. There was always another shadow.
She had built more than a career, she had built a discipline. Deep sea archaeology was now a
We'll need an AUV swarm survey first. Low altitude mag and sub-bottom profiling. If it's a wreck, it's ancient.
Pre-Columbian, maybe?
The pitch was no longer for a single ship. It was for a frontier. The last great mapping project on Earth.
We are not just exploring space, we are exploring time. We chart asteroids, but ignore the history under our hulls.
What's the first target, Dr. Chen?
The shadow in Grid 7 Baker. A feeling.
The tools of the trade had changed. The robots now went ahead, scouts in the silent war against the unknown.
She had learned to guide from the rear, to let the next generation feel the helm in their own hands.
Patience was still the core tool. Technology sped the search, but the sea gave up its secrets on its own schedule.
Contact, Grid 7 Baker. It's structural, multiple right angles.
The shadow became a shape. The shape became a ship. The feeling became fact.
The lines were unfamiliar. This was not a galleon, not a steamship. This was a design from a different textbook entirely.
Get the photogrammetry AUV ready. We need eyes on it. Now we need eyes. The most gentle eyes we have.
The world tilted. This wasn't just an old wreck. This was a ship from the dawn of ocean-going trade, lost in the Atlantic depths.
A ship from antiquity, in the deep Atlantic. It rewrote chapters of history before they even sampled its timber.
Marcus.
Marcus, we found a Phoenician ship.
On the village.
Well, I'll be damned. How deep, Sarah?
4,000 meters. Perfectly preserved.
You are looking at a vessel that sailed the Mediterranean perhaps 2,500 years ago. How it came to be here.
She had brought the world to the deep, without anyone getting wet. It was the ultimate act of preservation.
You did it, Mom. We did it. And you'll do the next one. The
The sea had given her a lifetime of questions and a few precious answers. The trade felt fair.
It was a small gesture, a giving back, an acknowledgement of the great, endless cycle.
In the quiet hours, the artifacts rested. Their journey from kiln to ship.
It was enough that it was found, that its existence was now a part of human knowledge, a star on the map of our past.
Her name became part of the institution, a foundation for those who would come after.
The pioneers of the Abyss took their rest. Their charts were passed on, their knowledge embedded in the protocols of every dive.
The questions grew more sophisticated, not just what and where, but why, and what does it mean for us?
The legacy was not a weight to carry, but a current to follow, one that flowed from curiosity to understanding.
Did you find your shadow?